How's it going, guys? And welcome to the Spring 2006 Otaku Awards. Very happy to be here today. Might have noticed some changes if you watched my last Otaku Awards. In the last one, I was standing over here in the corner. I was dressed a lot nicer in a shirt that looked like it was about to explode off of my chest. And I was also horrifically awkward. I mean, come on, it was my first time doing something like that. And yeah, I'm gonna keep it up. You know, gotta treasure those moments. You gotta treasure them. Or so I think. Anyway, moving on. So, this time I'm changing things up a little bit. Sitting down, mostly because it gives me access to my notes a lot better. I think that's going to help. Secondly, I think it's a better feel. And personally, that's really what matters. And finally, because I think it's fun. So let's get going with this. If you weren't here last time, pretty much what this is I just go through and look at all the anime of the past season, kind of talk about what I liked, what I didn't like, and ultimately kind of give a best anime of the season, best waifu of the season, and at the end of the year I'm planning some kind of competition to kind of see what was overall the best of the year. So really excited, and I hope to hear your input on it. But without ado, let's get started. Now, naturally, if you haven't watched any of the anime, this might not make a lot of sense. I'm going to try and just kind of give a brief overview of the anime, but this really isn't about, telling you what the anime is. It's more about reviewing the anime that's come out. I may do another video if you're interested in talking about the anime I'm currently viewing, but for now, we're going to focus on just what we have seen in the past. Alright, first one we're going to start with a bomb, which was Ace Attorney. Oh my gosh. Okay, now a great set of games. Really, that was what got me excited. I saw it coming out. I was like, oh, that's a clever idea. You know, I'm a fan of Bones. I'm a fan of horror / mysteries. I think they're great. And also, I really like the idea of, criminal investigation. I'm a big fan of those types of shows. So I thought, oh, cool, anime version. That'll be fun. It was not. Well, you see, what makes those shows so great is an intellectual mind behind them. You can feel like it's a puzzle that needs to be solved, and that the puzzle gets solved in a way that makes a lot of sense and is a lot of fun, and also conceivable. It kind of fails on all fronts in that case. The episodes I watched, it just seemed very flat. The characters seemed a little over the top emotionally, under the top when it comes to intellect and an ability to really reason properly, especially the people who are being persecuted, who are innocent. It's I don't know, a lot of them just came off as really ditzy, and that was why they're in trouble effectively. There was some cleverness to the tales, but it was either so eccentric that it seemed bizarre, or it was so simple-minded that I saw it coming a mile away. Ultimately, it left me disappointed in the series, so, not gonna like it very much, honestly. Now, second one I saw was Anna Happy. That one was great. If you don't know, that one's about girls who are going to a school and attending a class filled with misfortunates, people who have poor luck. Now, it's a cute one. That's pretty much all there is going for this one. I mean, if you're looking for an in-depth storyline or any type of consistency at all, this is not the one for you. But it was just enjoyable. Got a few chuckles out of me. Some crazy situations, and I don't know. The girls were funny. I like the concepts of people there's the girl who was just the epitome of bad luck. She's probably my favorite. There was the girl who was in love with a traffic sign. There was a girl who literally could get lost no matter what. And then the last one, I didn't know was truly misfortunate. It was just that all female animals were horrifically attracted to her. It was almost like watching a Fluttershy, but unintentional Fluttershy. That was great. And there's your My Little Pony reference for the episode. Congratulations. I hope you enjoyed that. Alright, next up is Brotherhood Final Fantasy 15. Was this a joke? I don't know. I felt like I was getting punked the whole time. So I'm not going to talk about it very much. It sucked. Moving on. Now, the next one's a fantastic one. You might have seen it splashed across YouTube because it was popping up on all my feeds. I don't know about you, but 100. It's a typical harem anime with a typical female protagonists in the plural, as a typical trap, the girl who's pretending to be a boy. Spoiler alert. It's not really a spoiler. It's revealed in the second episode, I think. Ultimately, it was just kind of a bleh. It had all the bad cliches of anime in it, and nothing really inventive or unique in any way. I mean, I don't know. Almost imagine people being able to be in smaller mechs. That's about the size of the excitement. It was also an anime I felt like was trying too hard and just not doing well at all. I mean, it's kind of like watching, you know, me try and do a long jump. You know, it's entertaining in the high school forum, but in the professional forum, it's almost an abuse. And that's really what this felt like to me, an abuse of the anime kingdom. And the fact that it was getting so much attention just because of its marketing scheme is just unfortunate. Because there's better anime, there's a lot better anime that came out this season that should have been getting the spotlight, and in the community it is. And we'll get to those in a second. Joker game. Oh my goodness, this one was good. This is one I just, like I said, should have been in the spotlight, and I feel like it kind of flew under the radar for the most part. Well, I can't say most part. It was generating some talk, but a lot of the people I talked to didn't really know what it was or what it was about. But let me just break it down to you. World War II, spies. There's nothing much cooler than that. Of course, it's fictional and has some situational stuff brought together, but man, the characters were fun and the situations were brilliant. Talk about what Ace was failing in. This one just had intelligence and creativity with the conversations and the ways that they were solved. It was really fun at the end. You always had the good punch at the end where you realized who's doing what and how they were doing it. It was just finely executed. My biggest concern is I have no idea who the characters are. Literally, they say their names kind of. For one thing, they don't reveal their real names, and for two, I don't think they ever say them more than once in the whole series. And so it pretty much was just I don't even know who the main character is when I'm watching it. And that's a bit of a problem. I really wish this had been flushed out. It should have got 24 episodes. It should have been something where we had multiple episodes of each character. That way we could get to know them a little bit. But hey, if you want just a fun kind of historical thriller, go for it. It's fantastic. Give it a shot. I definitely approve. Alright. Now buckle up, because this is going to be the one that if any of you have been watching anime this season, this is the one you know and love. ReZero. There's a bug attacking my face. I am so sorry. It's driving me nuts. Moving on. ReZero. ReZero is probably one of the better anime this season. And the funny thing is, it's the same hash we've been force-fed for the past few years. I mean, it's the SAO, it's the Konosuba, it's the same darn thing. It's the character who's the geeky otaku who gets pushed into a fantasy world of his dreams, has some type of awesome power that comes with it, and ultimately has fun with his waifus. That's the plot of ReZero. Now, don't get tuning away right now because you need to see it. If you haven't seen this one, you have to watch it, because where all those other ones really kind of feel like they're hashing and rehashing the same thing, or in the case of SAO, pushing the fandom towards some very uncomfortable things in their plot that really shouldn't have been there. Second half of first season. Anyway, moving on. You need to see this one because it's just the brilliance of the execution. First off, characters are amazing. You have characters that are instantly eye-catching, that you're oh, I want to know more about them. And then you get to know more about them, but bit by bit, they're not shoving the characters down your throat, but they're also not holding back the characters at all. You get to figure out more about them and who they are, where they come from, and it's wonderful. And then you place them in this interesting world full of fantastical characters and fantastical events, and you know that the world is breathing and alive because there's so much you don't get to know, but you know enough to understand the story. Just perfectly executed in that regard. World building, top notch. And then the creme de la creme, is that the right phrase? I think it is. The best part is the concept of the character and what he goes through. Because unlike shows like SAO, Konosuba, the characters actually take damage. The people suffer, and it can get horrifically bloody, but not to the point of being all excessively gory. It's realism, I would call it. For instance, you get stabbed in your stomach, you start to die. You fall to the ground, hardly able to move, and you're dying. Or you get hit with a mace the size of a massive watermelon. It knocks body parts off, and it hurts really bad. And it sounds gross, but they do it right. But the most interesting thing is the fact that whenever the character dies, because he dies a lot, but every time he dies, he reverts back to a previous time where he remembers everything that happened, but he has another shot at it. It's a wonderful concept. It almost feels like a autosave function in a video game, but I don't know. It makes it feel more visceral and real. A real autosave wouldn't be pleasant at all, but handy. And it's really cool to see how it's executed, and how the situations that seem horrifically impossible can be eventually figured out. It's brilliant, so watch it. I've been just kind of going off on this for a while, so I'm going to shut up now, but watch it. Do it now. Alright, the next one is along similar lines, but very different in tone, and that's Twin Star Exorcist. Twin Star Exorcist is about these younger kids, like I'm saying like junior high kind of kids, who have a side job of fighting demons. Now these demons live in a parallel dimension, they try and rip their way through, they feed off of fear, anger, anxiety, and blah blah blah, you know, your typical demon rhetoric. These people go through, they're part of the group of exorcists, which is like another thing that's really hashed out a lot in anime. And I can't say that the demon/exorcist relationship is really all that fascinating. It's very cut and dry, there's not a lot of depth to it. They also tend to break the system where they're like, oh, these people are supposed to be good, but look at all these other people who can totally destroy them. I don't know why they're not considered the top magical people, because the Twin Star Exorcists are supposed to be the best, and they're supposed to get married and have like a kid who's going to become like the ultimate exorcist. But of course, they're like 14 years old, and they're being told they're going to get married, and they can't really stand each other. And, you know, it's not the greatest plot, and I have to admit that I kind of just trudged through the majority of the first part of the season, because it's continuing on in this current season. However, it got to towards the end, I think around episode 9, it really started to take a turn where it started hinting at this dark past. And then episode 10, where it like revealed, I think it was 10, 9 or 10, I can't remember exactly, but it revealed this dark past. And it goes from this like, oh look, they're like goofy little kids who don't know what they're doing and they're being forced to date each other and it's so horrible, to like, you find out that one of the kids had to watch all of his childhood friends get turned into like human demons where they lost control and was forced to kill them all because of a friend of his who betrayed him. Like, it took a leap into like the stratosphere, and it went from this show that I was like, oh yeah, you know, I'd feel okay with showing this to, you know, my like nieces and nephews that are in middle school, to I'm not sure if I'd want to show this to high school people. Like, it got dark fast. So, but that resurrected it for me. That really got it exciting, and I'm excited to see where it goes from here. So I'm going to stay tuned on that. I think you should check it out too. Boy, I really talk a lot, don't I? Jeez. Now we're going to tone things down a little bit. Kind of go to cool town with one of my favorite things, which is the short series, like Panderpiece, not Panderpants. What am I talking about? Panderpiece. It's one of those short ones where like every episode's like 5 minutes long. I'm not sure. I'm guessing that they, in Japan, probably air them like between 30-minute or hour-long episodes. I guess that's the only time I can think of that a network would squeeze one in, unless they have a bunch of them back to back. But Panderpiece is about girls in, like, I'm guessing high school, who love bread and baked goods. So, yeah, if you want to see, like, I don't know, cute girls eating bread all the time, watch it. I thought it was cute. I wouldn't say it was super interesting. I mean, it didn't teach me anything, and it's not like I had any real conflict, but what can you do? It's the best one I could find that was a short series. I usually try and watch one of them. Oh, no, this was funny. Cerberus. Okay. I don't know. If you watched it, please tell me. Did it get better? Because it had the first episode that was like, oh my gosh, amazing. And then the second episode just really made me mad because it was so disappointing compared to the first episode. The first episode said the story about this like fantasy land with this massive evil like demon dragon, and how like these three people, like a mom, a dad, and a little kid, had these relics that were going to use to bind him, and then something happened, like a traitor I think, but somebody betrayed them in the middle of like the sealing ceremony and ended up leading to the parents' deaths, and the boy had to be taken away. And I was like, oh my gosh, what a crazy story that was. That's amazing. And then the characters just became stupid. Like, every single character in the first couple episodes was so aggravating. Like, I wanted to burn my own eyes out, because it was so infuriating to have such a promising start and then have it come crashing down to the mediocrity at my feet. I don't know. I mean, it kind of reminded me of having a Lego set where you're like the proudest of the proud when you're a little kid and you built it together, and like you try to pick it up so you can show somebody, and as you pick it up, it literally falls to pieces. like, it just kind of craps on you, and that's really the whole thing about this series. I don't know, I didn't like it. Maybe it got better later on, but it just made me so frustrated I couldn't continue. And don't even get me started on Bakuon. Ugh, just, I don't know. I understand that having a series based on cute girls is always popular and fun, but I never, ever been able to enjoy a series when the girls are just so stupid. The entire time, I feel like it's just a competition to see which of them could annoy me the most. It's another series I wasn't able to completely finish, quite honestly, because it was just so obnoxious. It's the girls who love motorcycles, if you haven't caught on that yet. They do this whole thing. There was a scene that went around, like, pretty prevalently along the internet of, like, the girls washing their motorcycles and, like, getting all weirdly sexual about it, including one girl who, like, gets the soap on her breasts and uses them to clean her motorcycle. That's probably the best summation of what this show is that I could possibly give you. It was pretty much just a pile of gooey snot that got snorted out of a professional baseball player's nose and landed in the dirt. And that's about as good as it's ever going to be. Sheesh, that was a harsh judgment, but it really, I just did not like that one. And then there was High School Fleet. This one was like the most glorious of glorious. It was one that I read the description of, which was like middle school girls, or no, they're just getting into high school. Brand new freshman high school girls going to a school in future Japan when like the water levels have risen and navies have become really important again. So they go to this special military school where these girls will grow up to become commanders and operators of these military navy ships. And they go to the school to be trained on them and to learn stuff. It's a prestigious school. I read the description. I was like, it doesn't sound that great. And then I saw it got like a 5-star review on Crunchyroll, and I'm like, okay, Crunchyroll, every time you've had a 5-star, I've loved it, so I'm going to try it. I was not disappointed. It was one of the better ones of this whole season by far. But as you might have guessed, the season really did not do so well. But beyond that, High School Fleet, super fun, especially the first few episodes where it's just like the whole time it's like sets up this whole cute girls on a ship and like actually running the ship like they should. Like, it was really impressive to see how much homework they'd done for the show to make it feel realistic. I was like, oh, that's very impressive. And then it immediately turns it on its head and just throws like a horrendous like twist like in the first episode, and just immediately grabbed me by the throat and made sure I never left the series until the end. I will say that I was disappointed in the revelation of what the twist was. I thought it had a lot more potential, but I'm not going to spoil it for you. I really want to make sure you watch it, so if you haven't, please make sure you go see it. But besides the disappointment, I'd already kind of been brought in by the fun characters and the situations, and probably the best thing is the naval battles, especially because the main characters are on a very small, fast ship. And besides its speed, that's about all it's got going for it. And you have to see them cleverly solve their problems, especially when involving fighting with bigger ships with a lot more, like, I don't know, oomph and power. It was really fun to watch, and probably one of the most enjoyable. And especially because it was really family friendly at the same time. That's something it has over ReZero. This is something I could easily sit down and watch with an entire family full of all ages. It was just fantastic. Alright, and then we finally get to the final part, because that was everything I could watch. This past season was a very busy time for me. I've been doing a lot of foundational things on my channel. Things have been going great, but it's been taking a lot of work. This season, I've got a plan though. I'm structured, and I'm going to make sure I see even more anime so I can get some better reviews and all that fun, fluffy stuff. I'm actually going to be doing some more anime theories. I kind of fell off the wagon on that for a while, so look for that. But, moving on. Best anime this season, hands down, has to go to ReZero, but High School Fleet is a close second. Now, the reason why I'm giving it to ReZero is because feeling is always the most important part with these things. Like, I can use logic and debates all you want all day, but for me, ReZero is the one I'm the most excited to come back to, and I'm so grateful that it's a full, like, it's like its first season is going to continue on into the summer. So I'm going to be enjoying this juiciness for another 12 weeks, which I'm super stoked about, because it's so good. like I said last time, I was pandering to it a whole bunch in the video already, but I'm going to just recap on it again. It's a combination of the characters, the fantastic world building, and ultimately the power that the main character has that makes him unique. By far one of the most fascinating things in the world. I really want to do a video based on that because well, it's not really science because it's based on magic, but what's actually happening in the episodes is really quite fascinating, especially to a physicist like myself. And so I really hope you're interested in that because that's going to come out sometime. I have no idea when, but sometime, because my schedule's already full for the next few weeks and I don't even know how I'm going to keep up with it all. But anyway, you don't need to hear my ramblings about my whole poor YouTuber. I love my life. Life's great right now. Alright, and now we go to Best Waifu, which might be the reason why you came. Well, came to the video. Don't ignore. Don't stop it. I know you're thinking it. Stop it. Best waifu. The best waifu is gonna go to somebody in ReZero. Now, I'm normally not a big fan of doing that. I think it's a bit pandery if I'm like, oh, I love this anime and it's got best waifu. I almost resist doing that because I don't want it to feel like I'm being biased. And I'm really not. I take the waifus almost completely separate from the style of the anime itself, because it's all about character personality, looks obviously, and overall, like, the question being, if I were single and I were their age, who would I want to date out of all these girls? Which is a weird question if you're not an otaku or a big anime fan, I know, but bear with me. It's just a thing. I don't know. I love putting myself in the shoes of the characters, and like that means that I often imagine myself in that world, and I say, who would I want to spend time with? And by far, the person I want to spend all my time with would be Rem from ReZero. Oh, jeez. Okay. When she first came on the screen with her and her twin, they're both in their maid suits. The first thing I thought of was like, oh, well, here's the clickbait of the whole season. You know, I thought it was just like, oh, they're pandering to the fans, and they do that a lot in anime. If you haven't noticed, they'll have characters who dress up in sexy outfits just because they want to have a character who's in a sexy outfit, even if they're not even pertinent to the plot at all, especially why they wear it. Sometimes they wear it for no reason. But in this one, it made sense. They're actually pretty main characters. They get featured very heavily, and they're actual maids in an actual castle, so maid outfits make sense. But they're pretty sexy. And now, why I choose Rem? She's a fabulous character. She comes off as like the super quiet and shy one, which is always, you know, I love the shy. I like the quieter, shy girls. Like I think they're cuter, and I think they're more interesting. And as I talk, it makes me sound so creepy. I promise, I'm not trying to be creepy. I'm just trying to share with you why I chose her as the best waifu. Best waifu. I can talk, I promise. But Rem is the best because she's got that fun personality. She has an insane backstory and capabilities. Like, you would never guess it. But then when she like unleashes herself, it's just like, oh my gosh. And it's like, I don't know. I imagine she's going to make some fantastic animated videos in the future because she's just perfect. And it's funny because she's not the main girl. I keep yelling at the main character in my head because I'm like, why won't you just date her? She's better than the one you're chasing after. Ugh, my goodness. And the best part about it, too, is that she's genuinely a good person. But she's not a perfect person. She has faults, she has weaknesses, and she has, like, parts of herself that she doesn't like any real person does. Like I said, depth of character in the series was just well done. Just so good. And so, like, there wasn't much competition, honestly, with this season, like, for Best Waifu, or even Best Anime, honestly. It was really kind of a sad season. But I think ReZero and Rem will honestly be some of the peaks as far as characters and anime this whole year, because I'm floored. ReZero is honestly climbing up quickly to become one of my top anime, like, ever. Not to say it isn't perfect. It's very imperfect, you know, it's got flaws, but it just hits the notes so well. It's really hard to not like it really, really a lot. Like, and that was such proper English. Oh my gosh. It's a good thing I do YouTube and don't teach anything. I'd be teaching wrong stuff. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me. That's a wrap. That's it. I don't think there's much else to it. I do want to hear back from you, though. You are going to make the difference here. One of the things I really want to make a part of it is I want to get you guys involved. I want to hear your feedback about, like, what was your favorite anime, who was your favorite waifu or husbando. I really want to hear that. Leave that comment and let me know. Also, leave a like if you like this video. Please let me know and subscribe for more content every week. Usually it's anime themed and visual novels or content. I also do a lot of book reviews and a lot of stuff with Brandon Sanderson and Cosmere stuff. You probably hear me talk about it all the time, but it's a really fun project and I hope you check it out. But anyway, until you see me in the next video or whatever you see me in, I'll see you there.